So my name is Carolyn Verdulis. I'm one of the licensed acupuncturists and founders here of Bitterroot Acupuncture and Wellness Center in Missoula, Montana. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to cover a portion of our Eating and Living for Life class. In Chinese medicine, we find that there's some very important things you can do, and I'll try to give you the Western medical perspective as well. So in terms of cycles, our bodies have all of these cycles. Western medicine only recently starting to realize how and why this is important. So when you're looking at making choices in your life, for example, when do I go exercise? Is there a preferable time of day or year? Or when do I start a new business venture? When should I be still, go to sleep? All of these go back to the fact that we've been on the planet tens of thousands of years, and our bodies have adapted and adjusted to a certain niche that we fill in the environment. So, for example, we're not nocturnal, we are daytime creatures. Our body, therefore, has evolved over time to be able to fit in and work with these cycles. So there are daily cycles, and if you can give me an idea of what you would think the high and the low of a day would be. Any ideas?
Exercise would be a high. No.
Exercise can be a high. What you want to do is determine when to exercise based on the environmental daily cycle. So for example, a daily cycle would look like any cycle, this kind of pattern. The high point is actually as the sun is rising. In terms of Chinese medicine, we call this yang. Basically, yang occurs as the sun is rising, and it starts to decrease as the sun is setting, and then you're moving into yin time. So the yang would be from this point forward, which Western medicine, so switching to the Western medical side, starts on average about 5:30 in the morning. So we know most people will kind of get up around that time. The sun is rising. So your body will sense this. When you step outside, your eyes pick up the light. That light sets into motion a clock in the brain. That clock will already tell your body when to produce hormones so that you wake up. Yes, you may have an alarm clock, but on the days you don't, your body will should naturally, if you're healthy, wake you up between this 5:30 to 8 a.m. time frame. This is when you should get a surge of yang. Yang is about warmth and energy like the sun. So as the sun is rising, you are getting yang, and Western medicine finds, yes, you are getting a surge of hormones like testosterone, like cortisol. There's a number of them. And it should reach its apex around 8 in the morning. Then as you move through the day, that is waning and decreasing. Now you're moving into this time frame through here that is yin. Yin you want to think in terms of cooling, moistening. We use blue, so I can circle this in orange. Think about the sun. And energy, yin being cooling and moistening. This is the other set of hormones that you should get. We know in Western medicine there are over 30 estrogens. We also know that our bodies will get serotonin and melatonin. A lot of people say they have difficulty with their sleep, and so they're taking melatonin. These are all thick, fatty substances, moist and cooling. So as our body gets moist, muscles relax, we're able to go to sleep, the eyes close. This is the time of yin, and it begins the opposite time of yang, whereas this is 5:30 to 8 a.m., this is 5:30 to 8 p.m. So you should be slowing down, doing less, and getting ready for sleep. So if you're following your daily cycle, what time should you exercise? In the morning. So we oftentimes go by and see a lot of people on the Stairmaster, and it's 9 p.m. at night. What they are doing is taking their system as it's going down, and they're driving it down further. So that is going to create poor health. And initially, when you're in your 20s, you don't notice that, but these things start to accumulate. By the time we're even more fabulous in years, 30s, 40s, 50s, and even greater, we find that this really starts to show up. The body temperature gets low, there's more fatigue, the musculature can start to reduce, where we notice that we're losing a lot of mass and developing what they call wasting diseases. We become more debilitated, we don't have the strength. So do not push your system down when it's going down. Instead, lift it up when it's going up. So if you exercise in the morning, you're going to get much better results. You're going to use your body's resources when it has them, not at night. So this is kind of a lifestyle thing that can really make a big difference. It's just a choice of when you're doing the same activity, and you will shift the results, especially over time. Does that make sense? Okay. So there's going to be other cycles. What's the next cycle that you can think of in time? So this is the daily. Now we can go to cycles. Certainly monthly. Now, of course, women have monthly cycles with their menses, but men have cycles as well. This is not about having a menstrual cycle or not. This is about how well your body is functioning with a monthly cycle. Can you think now what that high and low would be of the month?
The beginning and the end? The beginning, the month?
And our bodies don't know when it's the beginning or the end. What they do know,
the moon?
Cycle of the moon. So if a woman is actually very healthy, and with lots of other very healthy women, they should all menstruate at the same time, and it would be on the new moon. When the moon is full, this is actually a shift of hormones. This should be ovulation. This is your high point. This is where they find, unbelievably, in Africa, they thought that rhinoceroses were single creatures, very rarely interacted, and yet we saw a video just in the last year where they had followed them around for about a year and found, surprisingly, on the full moon, and I don't know if this is every full moon, they're very social and active that whole night. So this is true. Hospitals see much more activity. Police departments see much more activity. This is a classroom, yes ma'am. So this is a very active time because hormones should, if you're healthy, be shifting. This is why the body will ovulate at this time. Okay? The opposite time is going to be the new moon. It's dark. This is when you should menstruate. And as I said, this is not about men versus women. Obviously, women should have a menstruation, but men's hormones will shift too. Western medicine calls it andropause, when a man goes into male menopause. So they're recognizing there's the same shift, obviously not with some of the same occurrences that we have, but still our bodies are regulated to what's happening with a lot of the solar system. Can you think of why the moon would have any sort of meaning in terms of our monthly cycles, or creating any kind of a cycle at all? Gravitation. There is a much stronger gravitational pull that drives all of the tides on the planet. We are usually somewhere between 65-75% water. There are other thicker viscous fluids and hormones. It not only drives all of the tides on the planet, it drives our hormones because there are also these thick fluids and certainly water. So this is what our body will respond to. In fact, the moon can vary by up to 8,000 miles with how close or far away it is from one full moon to the next. You may have heard 2 full moons ago, so I think back in May, no, I think it was just last month, June, what they called the super full moon was because that moon was the closest to the Earth and had more gravitational pull and created a lot more issues. Very frequently a woman will have difficulty sleeping if her cooling hormones are too low. You have to have a lot of those thick, rich hormones to withstand the gravitational pull of the moon. So in terms of a monthly cycle, when do you want to start writing a new book, or start a new business venture, or maybe begin your workouts, training for the marathon?
Full moon.
Full moon, yes. So again, if you're making a choice, so now you can combine 2 cycles. You can say, well, what is my daily cycle? I'm going to start exercising in the morning. I'm going to start a new business. I'm going to get up and do something active. And if I'm choosing on the full moon to do more during that time, that'll be fine. You don't want to push when you're at your low point. So when you are menstruating, not the best time to start anything new. A lot of times ladies will know that automatically, inherently. We can kind of feel the difference. You get a different set of hormones. They are cooling. Body temperature drops. There's less energy. That's the time to reflect. That's about creativity. So you can have all of your creative time here and then put that into operation at the full moon. So if you kind of follow these cycles, you may find you're far more effective in any endeavor that you're attempting. Okay, well, thank you very much.